Hey guys, I hope that you guys are doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Shikha, and as always, I welcome you to my channel. I welcome you to all my videos, my podcast, or wherever you guys are listening to me or watching me. I appreciate the support. I appreciate all of the messages and comments and love that you guys have been sending my way. Thank you so much. In this video, I want to speak to you guys about how to deal with narcissistic parents. I think it's one of the most tragic things in the world where, you are a child and you have, these needs or desires that your parents should be strong and take care of you and, be that source of strength to you. And all of a sudden you realize that your parents are not like that and they're actually narcissistic and they're actually going to suck your energy dry, and they are very needy. And they're just not the kind of parents who are going to give you strength. Instead, what they will need is strength from you. Now, I was lucky enough. I don't think my parents were that narcissistic. I think they were pretty strong and they gave me strength, and I was lucky that way. But I have had a lot of friends where I've noticed that their parents were extremely narcissistic, where everything about the situation was about that parent. No matter what happened, it wasn't about the child at all. If the child, had bad marks or did something wrong, it was always reflected on the parents. It wasn't just about the individual, about that child. It was always about the parent. Now, a couple of you guys have messaged me asking me how to deal with narcissistic parents. I just want to be careful first of labeling someone a narcissist without actually it being true. I feel like narcissistic or narcissism in general, this term has become so overused, don't you think? It's like love. Everyone just says love all the time as if it doesn't really mean anything. Don't tell me you love me unless you really, really, really love me, right? It's a very strong word to use, whereas nowadays it's just everyone uses it for everything. I love everything. I love this. I love that. And I'm guilty of that as well. So I feel like narcissism and narcissistic parents or narcissistic people, narcissistic personality disorder, whatever it is, that term itself has become so ubiquitous. I can't to say that word. It's become so common. It's something that everyone uses as if it's just everyone is narcissistic apparently. And that's the reason I want you guys to be really careful. Maybe it's true. Maybe your parents are narcissistic, or your sister is narcissistic, or your brother or your partner is narcissistic. I'm not saying that they're not. I don't know them. I have no idea what you guys are dealing with. But I really want you guys to be careful of labeling them something that's so powerful and so negative without actually it being absolutely true. Now, there are obviously, like everything else, there's a spectrum of narcissism. I think everyone falls on a spectrum with every kind of disorder or every kind of personality trait. There's always a spectrum. That's the reason why a lot of us as INFJs are perceived as extroverts. If you look at me, when I'm walking on the street or when you see me doing these videos, you probably think I'm an extrovert. I get a lot of people actually messaging me saying, "You're not an INFJ, you're an ENTP or ENFT, whatever it might be." They always think I'm an extrovert. Because it's a spectrum, I probably fall a little bit closer to the extroverted thing than the introverted perhaps, or I'm right in the middle probably. Whereas, a lot of people fall closer to the introverted side, some people fall closer to the extroverted side. It's a whole spectrum. The same thing with narcissism, I think. Most people are on the spectrum. Now, of course, some of them are more narcissistic than others, and you will get a sense of that when you meet that person. Same thing as energy. You meet a certain person and you're like, oh my God, that energy is really negative. And you meet some other people and their energy is really positive. So narcissism is like, I think it's also a sensing kind of thing. As an INFJ, we do attract narcissistic people. We attract people who are broken because they think that we can fix them, because we give this sense of strength and peace and calm to the people around us. So they think, oh, this person is strong, so they can handle it. I can put everything upon them and they'll be able to take it. They're strong enough to deal with all of my shit. Whereas we're like, okay, don't put your shit on me. I already have a lot of my shit to deal with, so go away. The reason I said that you have to be careful with labeling someone as narcissistic, because as soon as you label them, then you're putting them into a box, right? And if they do something, if they do anything at all, you're going to be like, oh my God, it's because they're narcissistic. If they do anything at all, oh, it's because, they're obsessive, or they're doing this because of this. They're all going to be put into a box. Whereas what I want you guys to do, if you are dealing with narcissistic parents or you're dealing with narcissistic people in general, is that try to look at it from their own perspective. Now, I'm not saying give your energy to them. If they're pulling energy from you, be careful about that. Be careful about making sure that you have proper boundaries. Even if they're your parents, if they're being narcissistic, then you need to have proper boundaries with them. And make sure that if they take and take and take and take, that you have some kind of pushback where you say, I'm sorry, no, I've already given enough to you today. I've already listened to your stories all day long today. I've given enough of my energy to you. I've given enough of my time to you. It's time for me to step back and take care of myself. So go away, kind of thing. Obviously say it in a nicer way, or say it like that, or however you wish. But don't put them into a box like that. Just don't say everyone around you is narcissistic. I get so many people around me, so many people messaging me all the time saying, oh, this person's narcissistic in my life, or that person's narcissistic, or I'm surrounded by narcissistic people. I get a lot of INFJs saying that. And I think to myself, I don't think there should be, I believe there shouldn't be that many narcissistic people on this planet. It seems like it's like an epidemic now. Everyone is narcissistic. So obviously there's something else going on here. And I think we as INFJs have a hard time creating boundaries with people, right? In general, we find that anyone who sucks us dry, anyone who sucks energy from us, we kind of label them as narcissistic. We think, oh my God, they're narcissistic. They just want to take energy from us. They just want to pull energy from us. Everything is about them. They don't care about us. And we just push them away because of that. I don't think everyone that you're meeting, that you're labeling narcissistic, is actually narcissistic. Maybe they're on the spectrum, but probably they're closer to the lower end than to the higher end. Whereas we always put everyone on the higher end. And I think, and this is really important, guys, so pay attention, I think it's because we have poor boundaries. That's the reason why we're labeling everyone as narcissistic. And that's the reason I wanted to really do this video. Probably a lot of you guys are going to listen to this and think, oh no, they're actually narcissistic. Don't worry about it. I'm not being foolish, or I'm not over exaggerating. They are actually narcissistic. Perhaps you're right, but it doesn't really matter if a person is narcissistic or not. If your parents are narcissistic and you're really, really young, like if you're a teenager, then unfortunately for you, you have to deal with their narcissism until you can leave your house, until you can leave their house. And so the only thing you can do is maybe spend as much time as possible in your room, or hide from them, or tell them, I'm sorry, I have to go do this, or try to spend as little time with them as possible, or create proper boundaries with them if you can as a younger INFJ. But in general, when you're moving through the world, and you're going to meet a lot of people who are going to be on the spectrum, who are going to pull energy from us, and because as INFJs, and this is one of the reasons why I always tell you guys to have really good boundaries, but in general, as INFJs, we have really poor boundaries. We're not able to create boundaries with people, especially when we feel like they need us. Now, I can tell you this as a certainty, an absolute certainty, is that because we're so strong, every single person on the planet is going to need us. Every single person on the planet is going to be like, oh my God, they're strong, they have a lot of energy, they're vibrant, they're INFJs, so they're reliable. And so every single person that's going to meet you is going to want to pull energy from you. Every single person that's going to meet you is going to want to pull your strength from you, or suck your energy or your strength, just to kind of rely upon you. It's just the way it is. The strong will always be relied upon by the weak. It's just, weak is a really terrible word to use, but you guys get what I'm saying, right? That's the reason I've always told you guys from the beginning, I think I've been talking about this, is to have proper boundaries. Make sure that you tell this person that they can't do that to you, and when enough has been enough, walk away from the situation. That's the main thing when I'm dealing with narcissistic people. That's the main thing I do. Now, the problem with narcissistic people is that if they're truly narcissistic, they're really smart and really intelligent, and they're able to use emotional blackmail against us. As INFJs, we hate it when we feel like we're not helping someone who needs us. Now, sometimes we'll be like, oh my God, this person really needs me, they really need me, but I'm really tired, I'm going to go take a nap and then come back and help them. But mostly, as INFJs, what we do, because we're unhealthy and we have a hard time having boundaries, we'll give and we'll give and give, and we'll burn ourselves out and be so tired that we have no energy to do anything else. That's the point that I don't want you guys to get to. I don't want you guys to get to a point where you're giving so much of yourself that you are killing yourself. That's not the point we wanted to get to, right? So that's what I want you guys to do, is step back. Step back whenever you meet anyone. If you feel they're narcissistic or not, or whatever it might be, if they're sucking your energy, if you're pulling from you, if they're trying to take too much from you, step back. Step back, step away from them, and move away from them as much as possible. This is my strategy with every single person I meet. I don't label them as narcissistic or not. I don't care what the labels are, because that doesn't matter. The main thing with all these individuals is that I make sure that I give as much as I can and then I walk away. And that's all. That's all. It's so simple and it's so easy to do as soon as you realize that that's the situation you're in. I've told you guys this before as well, and I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but you don't need to save the world. It's not our responsibility as INFJs, even though we're strong and we're capable and reliable, blah, 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 blah. It's not our responsibility to save anyone else. It's not our responsibility to save anyone else. Not our responsibility. We're not the saviors of this world, and we're not the only people on this planet that they can rely upon. I bet you, if you stepped away from this individual who is narcissistic perhaps, or is pulling from you, if you stepped away from them, they would find someone else to latch on to. They would absolutely find someone else. And then that person is going to be able to take care of them. So you are not the only savior that's there. You know, you're not the only person that can take care of them and their needs. Just be careful with that. I really want you guys to pay attention to this because it's really, really important. Okay, this video is already very long, so I'm going to cut it off here. But if you guys found any points that were a little bit confusing, or if you found something useful, let me know and I will elaborate on it in a future video. Again, be careful of labels. I find that labels are really, really dangerous because as soon as you put someone into a box, that's it. They're going to stay in that box forever. And we want to try not to do that because then we're more flexible. If someone's narcissistic, that's it. You know, we're done with that. But if someone is just sucking you dry, or if they're an energy vampire, or if they're just pulling too much from you, if you just keep it very simple, then you can be flexible about it. You can be like, okay, this person's too needy. I think I need to step away from them. I hope this makes sense. I hope I was able to answer your question. I was able to explain myself to you guys. Again, if you guys have any questions at all or any elaborations that you need, please message me anytime. All my contact information is in the description below. And I shall see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.